What if I told you that the biggest fears of India's millionaires have absolutely nothing to do with money? Well, today we're going to dive deep into the mindset of the ultra rich. We're using some amazing insights from wealth manager Karan Bhagat's to bust the myths that we all kind of believe about wealth. So let's get right into it. So let's just kick things off with a big question. What does someone with $1 billion fortune really fear? A stock market crash? Maybe? A terrible investment? You'd think so, right? But the real answer is, well, it's a lot more personal than that. You see, it turns out their biggest anxieties aren't financial at all. They're psychological. They're rooted in things like family, values, and the legacy they're hoping to leave behind. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly what that means. But first, let's just make sure we're on the same page. What does very, very rich even mean in India today? Well, from what experts like Bhagat see on the ground, the magic number is owning a good house plus having about 5 crore rupees in financial assets. So that's the kind of wealth we're talking about here. Okay, so let's tackle the first and maybe the biggest myth out there, that having a massive bank account means you have a problem-free life. I mean, it's the ultimate fantasy, isn't it? But the reality for the super rich, it's a whole lot more complicated. The wealthy, it turns out, face this unique set of pressures. There's this immense weight of expectation, not just from their family, but from society. And you better believe that with social media, the peer pressure is on 24/7. But you know what the biggest worry is? It's their kids. They're terrified that a life without any struggle will stop their children from developing resilience, a strong work ethic, the very spirit that built the family's fortune to begin with. And that brings us right to our second myth, which really gets to the heart of everything. We all assume that the number one fear of the wealthy is losing all their money. But what if the real fear isn't about what they have, but about what they pass on? So think about it like this. There are two types of inheritance. On one hand, you've got capital inheritance. That's the easy stuff, the money, the stocks, the property. But on the other hand, you have psychological inheritance, and that's the big one. It's the values, the work ethic, the emotional resilience. For the ultra-rich, the real terror isn't losing the money. It's failing to pass on the mindset that created it in the first place. And wow, this quote from Karan Bhagat just nails it. The biggest fear is, can our values be passed on to our children or not? It's not about the balance sheet, you see. It's about the belief system. It's about whether the next generation is going to carry that torch or just let the flame go out. That is the real billion-dollar question. This whole focus on values leads us right into debunking our third myth, the genius breakthrough. We all have this picture in our heads, right? That massive wealth comes from a single world-changing aha moment. But the reality is actually way less dramatic and a whole lot more disciplined. It turns out the secret sauce isn't some flash of genius. It's this principle right here. Incremental is exponential. It's the belief that tiny, consistent efforts, compounded day after day, week after week, lead to this explosive, almost unimaginable growth. It's not about doing one thing 1,000% better. It's about doing 1,000 things just 1% better. And here's how that actually works. It all starts with this crazy, intense discipline. You focus on one core thing, you improve it just a little bit every single day, and then you just let the magic of compounding do all the heavy lifting for you. It's like a marathon made up of daily sprints. I mean, just think about this quote from Michael Phelps, 7 years. Not a single day off. Not Christmas, not New Year's. That's not a breakthrough moment, that's a breakthrough process. It's that relentless accumulation of tiny efforts that creates a result so huge it just looks like magic to the rest of us. Okay, on to our final myth. We talk about the rich as if they're all the same, like one big single group. But the thing is, wealth in India isn't just one big blob. It has different flavors, different histories, and completely different ways of thinking about money. Let's break this down a bit. You've got old money families. They've seen fortunes come and go, so they're playing defense. Their whole game is preservation, investing in hard assets and keeping total family control. Then you've got new money. These are often first-generation entrepreneurs, and they're playing offense. They are all about growth, experimentation, taking risks on new-age tech, and they're comfortable trusting professionals to help run their businesses. And this diversity isn't just about old versus new. It's also geographical. If you look at North India, wealth is often tied to status and things you can see and touch, which is why you see a big focus on real estate and grand hotels.
Then in Western India, with cities like Mumbai, the whole mindset is geared towards capital markets, stocks, bonds, trading. And down in the South, the preference is more for a diversified conglomerate approach, building and owning a whole bunch of different businesses in totally different sectors.
So we've busted the myths. What's the reality then? What is the true equation that connects wealth and values and a life that actually means something? And here it is, the big takeaway, the real paradigm shift. The people who build and sustain incredible fortunes aren't actually chasing money. No, they're chasing excellence. They're chasing discipline. They're chasing a core set of values. And wealth, well, that just becomes the inevitable byproduct of that relentless pursuit. And that leaves us with one final, and I think really powerful question for you. If wealth is just a byproduct, then the real goal isn't to ask, how can I get rich? The question we should all be asking ourselves is this: what values am I building day by day that are so strong, so consistent, that wealth has no choice but to follow? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.